Welcome to the World Football Summit podcast, the show for football industry leaders who want to stay ahead of the game. We bring you the latest insights, trends, and stories from the experts driving innovation and progress in sports business worldwide. Join us as we dive deep into the ideas and initiatives transforming the world of football. From sustainability and innovation to player development, fan engagement, and everything in between. Our goal is to unite the global football industry and drive positive change and progress. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the World Football Summit podcast. I'm your host, Jaime, Director of Content and Communications at World Football Summit. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to RCD Mallorca CEO, Alfonso Diaz. And it's great to speak to him because we recorded this right before they were competing in the Spanish Super Cup. So it's an interesting moment for them. But we don't talk about football, as you know. We talk about more about business. So we talk about the legacy of the club. We talk about leadership. We talk about, the role of American investors and they're playing in their growth. We actually talk about sustainability. Really, it's a great leadership and business conversation that I think you're going to enjoy. Stick around because I think you can learn a lot of things. But before going into it, though, this is one of the first episodes of 2025. And as you know, we're going to have a very busy year. We have events coming up in Bilbao for Women's Football Summit. We have an event in Rabat in Morocco in April. We have Americas in Mexico in June. We're going to have September. We're going to go to Hong Kong. We'll be back in Madrid in October. And hopefully, after this challenging year, we'll finish it off in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh again. So everything that you want to find out, you can either do two things. You can go to our website and find out our upcoming events, or you can subscribe to our newsletter where we will be sending weekly updates around what's going on in the industry, but also about what we have planned for our events. So, make sure you subscribe, and the links are in the show notes. And also it would be very helpful if you share, if you read the podcast. And that helps us a lot bring our guests like Alfonso to the show. So if you can do that, it would be, very, very, very much appreciated. Anyway, guys, nothing else from me. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy it. And let's welcome Alfonso Diaz. Well, Alfonso, it is a real pleasure to welcome you to the World Football Summit podcast. I know you have a very busy schedule. You guys are about to play in the Spanish Super Cup, which is, I guess, an exciting opportunity. We're going to talk about that later on. But yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm super happy to be here with you. And yes, here fighting for a new trophy. So let's see what happens.
Hopefully, let's see. But Alfonso, before we're going into a lot of topics, because today we're going to talk business. I know you're going to talk a lot about football these days, but I want to talk business with you. But before doing that, I guess I'm curious. You're the CEO at Mallorca. What's your typical day like?
You mean here, or you mean in my day by day?
In a usual daily, not there in Saudi, but just as what does your role imply as a CEO of a football club? If you could maybe divide your role into buckets or priorities, if you will,
Well, yeah. Well, my role in the day by day. Well, it took time. We have been here 8 years since we started this new project with the new ownership. But trying to restructure the club, try to stabilize the club, and try to make this new structure inside the club with new professionals coming into the club and trying to find resources to make this club bigger, having the best players we can have, and continue restructuring the club and stabilize it in the first division. That is where we have to be.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, Mallorca, you guys have if I'm not mistaken, it's 108 years of history.
Yeah.
The club has been able to build a great legacy because, it's won important trophies like Copa del Rey. It has had iconic players, I'm not going to start naming them because we can spend the whole hour here. But how does that legacy influence your vision and what you're trying to build for Mallorca?
Yes, it is true that we are a centenary club, but it passed through difficulties in the past. When we arrived here 8 years ago, it was a very complicated situation from sports perspective, from the business perspective. So, we have this we are proud of what we have done in these 8 years, but we have a lot of responsibility, let's say, to keep the centenary institution alive again and make this coming back to those gold decades where they played the Champions League in the past. So where there we are, not trying to convert this club again and make this club again bright and be a big club competing in Europe at some point.
Hmm. And that actually brings me to a question that I wanted to ask you. As a CEO, I want to talk about leadership and transitions within a football club. And you guys went, you've going through a coaching transition. So you have a coach that brought stability, which is you're trying to bring, but then you brought a new one that's trying to take a leap forward. So what lessons in terms of managing leadership transitions that anybody can actually learn from, whether it's in football or outside football? Because I think it's a dynamic that you see everywhere. No.
Yeah, you have to find which are going to be your leaders. First of all, we try to set up this culture of work effort that could be a very used words in the world of sport, but it has really helped us. We are workers in the locker room, all the staff, and this is the culture we have tried to set up to be different. Also, in the approach we are having to everything we do in terms of how we communicate, the content we have. We try to recover the brand of RCD Mallorca, and this have make us try to lead the change, no, in a different way. And if we talk about the coaches we have had, well, the Javier Aguirre, that was the former coach we had in the past 2 years, season and a half. It was a moment, no, we need to work hard. We just was promoted to La Liga, and we need to stay in La Liga no matter how. And it was that transition. And now we believe that it's a risk because we knew that with Javier Aguirre, we were going to be there fighting, not to be relegated, but fighting to stay in La Liga, and it happens. But we thought together with the sport director that it was the moment to change and to go for another level and transition to grow. And we changed the coach. We moved to Yago Barrasate with a different view, being more offensive, and is different steps and different kind of profile of coaches depending on the moment you are.
Hmm. And that brings to mind a framework that I once discussed with Jordan Gardner. And for you to know who he is, he's an American investor. He used to be owner at FC Helsingborg, which is a club that actually just Andres Iniesta just invested on that. No. And we were talking about that successful clubs have, there's three pillars. You have your culture, you have leadership, and you have stability. So I don't know, because to me that's unfortunately because it's not common in football. You don't see that often. So what's your take on this framework, and how do you try to either embrace this framework if you do, or challenge it if you don't?
Of course, we have embraced that. It's good to first understand who is behind this new project, the ownership we have. We had former sportsmen like Andy Colbert, that was former tennis players, is the main owner and the president. Steve Nash, basketball legend, Hall of Fame. Steve Kerr, 9 times NBA champion. Now this coaching the Warriors and the national team, U.S. national team. Stu Holder, that was former football player, Premier League, national US team. So all of them have this winning mentality, knowing that you lose more than you win in sports, and has this long-term view, long-term vision. And this is important, not to understand where we are going and all the advice that they are giving in the day by day. So taking this into account, this is what we want to be, trying to understand that what is sports, trying to understand that you need passion and you need be very professional in everything we do. We have plans, 3 years plans, where we know step by step where we are following, despite we are demoted because it happens 3 times during this period. But knowing that you have a plan and a goal in the future, and we are following this step and this planning, but always thinking in the long term, no matter what is happening in the day by day, because you know that we are going to lose a lot.
Hmm. And now you bring up, the different American ownership or the owners that are actually behind the club and supporting the club. Um, the club has made a lot of investments in terms of the stadium, the first team. So what is the vision behind all of these initiatives, and I guess what have you learned from them being involved in this?
Yes, well, this plan started in 2016. We know first that we have to make a deep restructuring in the club, in the organization. We are a few people, but very young people that are working hard in the day by day, very well prepared to make this plan happen. Then we try to stabilize the club financially, making financially sustainable. That was really important. And then 2 years ago, we started this new process of investment to grow, no? Investment in a structure, in staffing, in infrastructure, completing renovation of the stadium, also the sports city, and also investing on players, not to continue growing. To me, the stadium renovation has been the way to transform the club. We work together with La Liga. Most of the club were all together in this La Liga push, as we call it, this agreement to grow all together in infrastructures, making new stadiums. So I think that we have boosted the growth of La Liga just in 2, 3, 4 years, something that we needed probably to spend 10 years or more. So we boost all this growth. And in our case, we increase a lot on revenues based on the stadium renovation. Our fan base growth a lot. We have 46% growth versus when we started all the renovation. More average attendance. The attendance has been double now. New profile of fans coming, more young generations uh, supporting the club. We are 23,000 members, so we have growth a lot. The fan engagement also, the match day experience. So all this has completely changed the club, no? So I think I would say that this is a milestone in an analysis of the club, this new renovation with new businesses around. Also very focused on sustainability in terms of we want to be a certified Waste Zero stadium, and we are working on that. Looking for new kind of businesses within the stadium. We are taking care of water, how we collect water from the rain. We are very worried about that. Is this in an island? And to be a mobility center, convert the stadium to a mobility center. So all these plans, all this new strategy of sustainability is also we are very concerned in our day by day, and I'm sure that the new stadium is going to convert the stadium and the club completely.
And now, well, we'll get back to the fun experience, but now that you mention all this element of sustainability, I'm thinking how challenging it is to manage all these sustainable initiatives and embrace it as a priority and balance that with running a football club, the day to day of a football club. How do you balance that?
Yeah, I think that both things can be done at the same time, and both things are going to help the institutions to grow, no? We need first to work on this because the responsibility we have, we are the biggest institution in the island, in Mallorca and the Balearic Islands. So we have to be responsible and have the flag of sustainability and work hard on that. And we were very sure that it was the way, no? We're talking about wet zero. We have to be very responsible with environments, also about the water, as I told you. We have to collect water and try to save as much water as possible in an island that has no rivers. So you can imagine. So we have to be an example for others in the island, no? And we have to be the first one working hard on this. And this is going to make us having this brand awareness is going to help us to be a better club and also to make others to come and be part of our stadium. I think that of our club, sorry. This is going to help us a lot to have more fans, more revenues, and at the end we are attracting players because they see that we are building a nice project here, a nice club, and it helps a lot to bring other players from the clubs. And as soon as they come, they embrace our culture and the way we are running the club.
Yeah, thank you for that, Alfonso. I mean, your answer kind of reminds me of a conversation I had with Rishi Jain, who's the director of impact at Liverpool. And he framed it, I think, very nicely when he said something that football clubs have the, let's say, responsibility, but also the opportunity to be a driver of sustainable practices. Because and you took it to when you talked about the business results, that's your opportunity. It's not just the right thing to do; it's the good thing for business, no? And so I appreciate that. And I guess I'm wondering because you're investing a lot in all the stadium and as you know the pillars of the sports business model. It's your commercial, it's your broadcasting, and it's your match day, if you will. No, now I once had a conversation with Christoph Winterling from Bologna, and he said that while match day would never be the biggest contributor to revenue, it is the driver of all the others. Because if you have a good stadium and people are there and engaged and there's a full attendance, you're probably going to get more sponsors and you're probably going to get better broadcasting deals because people are going to assume that, that's an interesting thing to watch. So what's your idea on that? What's your frame? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, we were trying to make the club less dependence on TV. It's true that right now we are talking about 50% of our revenues depend on TV. So this is very risky because you know that we have been up and down, and there's a big difference being in second division than in La Liga first division. So we need to depend less on that and work hard on having um, more experiences, more kind of revenues at the stadium. We have create a new experience, completely new experience during match day. It makes more people attending, more fans attending. Of course, there are more revenues. We have a new sport bar. We are going to have a new clinic. We are working also on a gym, on a football indoor for kids. So everything is going to happen in the stadium at 365 days open. Now during summer, we have signed an agreement to have concerts, live concerts at the stadium. So this is a social thing. The stadium is going to be converting an important venue at the city, not only football, but more than that, beyond that, a social um, um, facilities so everybody can come and have concerts, culture. So a lot of things happening at the stadium and the club behind all this. And the important thing is that all these new revenues that we are having makes us continue reinvesting on the club to grow. So this money is not given to the ownership, so they know and understand that we have to create value and continue investing on the club. And overall, what happens that the sponsors believe on this project and they invest more, even more on the club because they know everything we are building is positive also for their brand and they will have a return on the investment. No.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. I think I'm going to ask you when can I become a season ticket holder to get all those benefits that you guys are building anyway. No, but I guess I'm wondering just to finish this section, Alfonso. I mean, if you could highlight one thing that you've learned from the American ownership, but also highlight what they have learned from you guys. What would you say?
Well, probably I can answer the first question. To the second one, you should ask to them. But I think that we have a very collaborative working relationship in our day by day. We talk a lot. We take the decisions together. This is really important. And it's amazing how they understand the sport business. They understand the day by day. When we talk and we face the difficulties we have been facing during all these years, they fully understand from the perspective of our sportsmen because they have gone through it in the past. And also they have the business perspective, no? And all they learn in the US sport and the US market, we can bring it here, but completely understanding that there's a different culture and we have to adapt to the culture, the Spanish culture, the way the fans enjoy sports in Spain. So it's completely different from US. So it's taking the best things from the experience they had in US, but adapting to the local culture. And this is what we are trying to do.
And now that you speak about that local element, I guess I wonder, you were speaking about growth before. At the end of the day, Mallorca, you have a strong local identity. It's an island, but I guess you have ambitions to grow globally, which is probably one of the reasons you're probably there, no, in Saudi right now. So I guess I'm thinking, how do you do that? I mean, how are you using your culture, your values to actually grow a fan or a fan base internationally?
Well, for us, the base to growth is our culture, our local fan base. This is our base. And it's at the big asset we have. No, we are different of others because of our culture, because of our island, because the international, we're in our island with 1 million inhabitants, while 30% of the inhabitants are international, basically Germans, Nordic countries, British. So we are very international island, and our ownership is from US. So you can imagine that our club is also so international, but always knowing that we have to preserve, to take care of our culture. And we did a complete renovation of our brand, our values, and we have always tried to promote our culture, no, the culture of our demos, of the nature, our amazing mountains we have, the UNESCO heritage with the Tramontana Mountains, the Blue Sea, the culture we have in our island, and we are really proud of showing to everyone who we are. No, we are also collaborating with the local institutions. We have an agreement with them. In the back of the pants, we are having the name of the four idols every game changing. So we are super proud of promoting the islands worldwide. No, let's say, because we have 130 million TV audience every game, every season. Sorry. So we have also this responsibility of showing everyone that are embracing the club who we are and our culture.
Yeah, in a way, football clubs have become more than just football clubs. They're representative of culture. This is something that also Serie A is doing a lot, because they're using football to help people learn more about Italian culture, which is effectively what you guys are trying to do. No, so I think that's interesting that you're doing that. No, and you guys you have to leverage the fact also that you have international population there, that you can access. You've had successful international players that are helping you open new markets. So back in the day you had Kubo. So you guys opened up Japan. I mean, so all of these things, I think they're building up. No, so thank you for that. And I guess that brings me a little bit to a question that I wanted to ask you, because today football um, is in a very competitive landscape, not only versus other teams or leagues, versus other sports, but also other forms of entertainment, no? And at the end of the day, how do you address that? I mean, what are the challenges and what are the opportunities of operating a football club, of working at a football club in this environment?
Well, I think that, of course, that the way the young generations are consuming no sport is completely different. First, because of the technology, but I think that we need to give experiences, different experiences that you can live live. No, so that's why I think that the stadium, the pre-matches, the fan zone, everything we do during the fan zone, previous to the games, all the experiences we are giving to our fans. This is something that you cannot live in a different way. No, you can be watching your game in your mobile phone or consuming the game in a different ways, of course. But there's nothing like coming to the stadium, come with your family, with your son, with your grandfather, your grandmother. So this is completely different with your friends. So this is what we are working on to make these young generations to enjoy and embrace the club and the experience during match day. That to me nothing is comparable to that.
Yeah, and I fully agree. At the end of the day, football is just a unique source of memories. I would say that you probably remember. Well, there's two ideas here. One, you probably remember when you were where you were and who you were with when you saw Spain lift the World Cup. Probably, you know. Uh, but and the other element is you don't see people posting selfies watching Netflix. but how many people do you see posting selfies, in the stadium? So that's kind of like the powerful element that football brings to the table, no? So I think you guys have to leverage, and the stadium there plays a key role, no? So I agree with that. Mm. Um, and I guess I want to shift to some, personal reflections of your role as a CEO, outside the business stuff. I guess what has been the most rewarding moment for you at the club so far?
Well, I think that is, I will not say one. Of course, that playing the final of the Spanish Cup was like a super moment when you feel proud of bringing this important moment again to those fans, loyal fans that are helping us to make this club a great club again. So look at this moment when we were there 6 months ago in Sevilla. All of them 20,000 fans coming from an island with the big difficulties that because you only have flights and ships. So there's no other way to go out of the island. And it was a big challenge to bring all of them to Sevilla. And it was amazing how proud we felt when we were all together in a different city altogether. This is the great moment. I think that we have lived all of us together, but the day by day, when you arrive to a game, when you take your car from home and you see all your fans walking to the stadium, all these young generations that are enjoying a lot with the families, how they enjoy, how they cry, how they enjoy the game also, how they jump together when we score a goal. Those moments you cannot buy, no? It's something so special and that makes you feel proud and make you wake up every morning and work for that. This is the completely different from other industries, no? How you can feel your I will not call clients, but all your fans together and enjoying and you feel that you are working for them and this is so nice and feel you very proud of everything you are doing.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were mentioning before, no? The unique memories and stories that actually football can generate, no? And and Alfonso, you've had experience at other industries. So I guess I wonder, what have you learned about leadership in this, call it, unique environment that is professional football?
Well, you need to be very balanced in everything you do. You can't. Sometimes there's a lot of passion in this industry, but you have to not to be up when things are going well, or not so down when things are going bad or when you face difficulties. So try to be very balanced, and this is the way to take the right decisions and to lead the organization, no, and the staff, the employees, to take the right decision in front of the fans. So this is important, no, to be very balanced in every decision that you take in the day by day. This is, I think, what I learned, not to wake up no matter if you lose on Sunday, wake up on Monday, and it's a new bright day, and fight for all, and try to be very balanced in every decision you are taking.
Goes back to what we were discussing before about stability, how important that is. Unfortunately, not very common in football. So I appreciate that you giving that answer. And what do you hope for, or what do you hope that Mallorca is known for in 10 years? What legacy, whether it's as a football club or maybe just as a broader organization, given all of that you're doing for your community?
Well, we are working for becoming an important institution for our community first, and from this point, of course, that having this club for years in La Liga, first division, trying to become a top 10 club, stabilizing La Liga, this is our goal. And from that point, I would like to say that we have this stability and we make this club big again, no? So this will make us feel proud. Our fans can continue enjoying the club in the first division, establish in the first division, at some point playing in Europe.
Amazing. That would be great. Okay. So let's see if that happens, no? So Alfonso, I know you're busy, but I wanted to finish off with some rapid fire questions. Now, again, feel free to either answer these or not, depends on what you want to do. I guess the first one is, if you have to sum up what makes Mallorca special in just one sentence, what would you say?
Well, we are unique islands in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea with an amazing culture and an incredible fan base. And being a centenary club, this makes us completely different in a very international island.
Okay. And let's play a game of imagination. If you had unlimited budget and you could acquire any player in history, there's no limits, to join the club. So you can go back in time, you can acquire any player, or you can anyone in today's world, wherever. I guess, who would you choose and why?
Well, to be honest, I'm super happy with the players we have in our team now. Those players and the ones that were before are the ones that have made us be what we are right now. So I will keep on going with the players that has been with us in the last 8 years. They make us being where we are, and we are a first division club in the sixth position right now in the rankings.
Appreciate that. Thank you for answering that. I guess we're recording right before the Spanish Super Cup, no? So how do you visualize the ideal victory for the club? Is it, the last minute goal? Is it a wide result? Is there anything that you're visualizing as a great moment?
To be honest, I don't like to think in future things that hasn't happened, because it's a way to make your brain a little bit like it's difficult. I prefer to think in the next game, not to imagine things that hasn't happened, because if not, well, it's difficult to manage when at the end you don't win this cup or this trophy. But well, anything that make us you succeed was for me. So, but it's true that I try to cut these idealizations of how you can win a cup.
Hmm.
When it happens, I will live it live.
Wow,
So
amazing! Because you've demonstrated stability around the whole conversation, and this was a great way to end it. So I appreciate that, even in this question. So thank you, and overall, thank you for the the lessons that you've shared with us today with the audience. I think they're going to appreciate it very much, given your experience. I guess before closing off, would you recommend us a guest or someone that you believe can be, a good guest on the show?
well, good question. To be honest, I have met a lot of people, amazing people, but those uh, sportsmen or sportswomen that have fought a lot from like we did, no? Those people that has fought against everything, and they have become examples for others, no? I will could tell you those like Rafa Nadal in a Mallorquin, is with Mallorquin that has made an incredible, overstanding career, but he has given more than a sport. He's given lessons of life, no? And how the humble he is, and to me, Rafa Nadal is the best example in not only in Spanish sports, but as a life lesson, how he overcome all these difficulties with injuries he has had, playing with pace has been amazing. So to me, Rafa Nadal could be a good example.
Well, if you want to connect us to him, we would be more than happy to welcome him, even if it's not a football. So I would be thrilled. Anyway, Alfonso, before we leave, any last words that you want to share with the audience today, or?
No, well, thank you for this podcast. I think it's super interesting for all those that are in the industry, but all those that want to understand a little bit more about football, soccer industry. And well, we try to be in different club. We are working hard. Still, I think that the best is yet to come. We have just started now our project in the last 2 years, and hope that everybody knows a little bit more about the city Mallorca than start following us in our project.
Well, thank you, Alfonso. I think that was a great way to end, because if I had to summarize, this was a conversation about being unique, about ambition, but also about stability. It's controlled ambition, which is good.
Yeah.
Best of luck. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll bring you back and you'll be sitting next to a trophy next time we speak.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And there you have him, Alfonso Diaz, the CEO at RCD Mallorca. I really like this conversation. I mean, it's always good to talk to the people that are actually running football clubs from the top, just like him. And I think there's some interesting lessons that, we can all learn from. But to me, the most important thing is stability. At the end of the day, it's what makes football clubs be successful. Being able to, in this football world that we live in, we don't see that very often, but it's good to have, a stable leadership and understands that, yes, you have to have ambition, but it has to be a controlled ambition, and always have clear things on your mind. So I like that. I also like the way that Alfonso talked about sustainability. At the end of the day, he tied it to business. If you think about it, it was not only the right thing to do, but also he talked about finding engagement and driving revenue and all about, all coming from the sustainable angle, which I think it's important. So when we talk about, football clubs being or embracing sustainability as a priority, it's about that. It's not only the right thing to do. It's good for business. So anyway, I hope you stick with that idea. And of course, the importance of the live experience, which is why they're investing so much in the stadium. At the end of the day, it's the key differentiator of sports or football versus other forms of entertainment, and we were talking about that, how many people do you see actually posting selfies of them watching Netflix? None. But how many people have you watched post selfies of them being at a game? That's the difference. The memories, the emotions. Yeah, that only you can live in a stadium. And it's a way to engage young fans, and it's good to see that they also embrace their priority and all the things that they're doing to actually make the stadium somewhere where people can go all year round. So it's not only about the match day, but also in terms of concerts, in terms of the gym. Anything that they're trying to build just to get more traffic to the stadium. And really, that's kind of like the main takeaways that I have. Just stick with the idea. They're trying to understand their unique angle. So what is your unique angle? What is your ambition? But also, you have to have stability. All right. So keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, if there's anything else that stood out to you, you know where to reach us across social media. You can also subscribe to our newsletter, and hope you enjoyed it. If you could, if you find it valuable, share it with anybody in the industry that you feel is going to get some knowledge out of this. And if you can read the podcast again, as I said at the beginning, it does help us a lot bring people like Alfonso to the show. And hopefully we'll see if we can get Rafa Nadal to the show, as you mentioned. Anyway, guys, have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you in the next episode of the World Football Travel Podcast.